Hello and welcome to my online geography session. Today I am here with you to discuss very important oceanography topic which is not being discussed exclusively because that becomes sometimes a part of some other movement. I am going to discuss today a topic that is Ekman spiral and Ekman transport. First of all, I will let you know that Ekman spiral and Ekman transport is related to which of the topic. So, it is related to your physical geography chapter, that is oceanography. In oceanography, we have very important ocean movement, dynamic movement related to the oceanic currents. So, I am very sure that all of you must have idea about the oceanic current. Oceanic currents are simply oceanic water masses that flow from one place to another place. It doesn't matter that what is the amount of the water. It can be a very large water, it can be very small water. Might be the movement is on the upper superficial layer or it is in the deep down of the oceanic water. Or the forces that are behind this movement can be simple forces or can be complex forces. So, in simply what you can say that oceanic currents are simply oceanic water masses in motion. So, that is how we define the oceanic current. When you will study the oceanic current, then you will come across a very important thing, a very important concept related to cyclic movement of the water. Cyclic movement of the water in the ocean, and this cyclic movement of the water in the ocean is simply represented as subtropical gyre. Of course, we can have some polar gyre in different area, we have the gyre will form. So, subtropical gyre you will study under the head of this particularly oceanic current. Now, there was a very famous explorer named as Nansen. He was a Norwegian explorer. Norwegian explorer Nansen, when he explored, when he went to venture in that particular Arctic Ocean, and this particular Arctic Ocean, the program under which they were exploring is FRAM, and in this FRAM what they found very interesting feature that most of the object can be iceberg, it can be a particularly ships, anything, any object that is floating on the ocean surface. What they found that these objects are not floating in the direction of the wind, rather they are not in this direction of the wind, they have some kind of deflection, and the deflection was also very interesting. So, most of the time deflection will be seen rightward in the northern hemisphere and leftward in the southern hemisphere. So, that was a kind of complex question that has been posed toward the researchers, toward the scientists, and to solve out that particular question, that why the oceanic movement or the upper superficial movement of the water are simply the objects that are present on the upper surface of the oceanic water are not following the direction of the wind. To solve that particular mystery, a very famous physicist named as Ekman presented a model, and model he presented in 1905 to just tell or explain that why these particular oceanic objects or oceanic upper superficial water is not following the movement of the wind. So, he presented the model in the name of Ekman spiral and Ekman transports. So we'll try to understand what was the concept. But the basic idea, the basic theme behind that particular theory or model was that the movement that is being seen in this ocean is the balance of two of the forces. Which two of the forces? One is frictional force of the wind and Coriolis force. Now just try to understand. Most of the time when you will read ocean current, then you will come across this idea that whatever the oceanic movement is happening, that movement is primarily caused by the wind movement. We have the global winds, planetary winds that are permanently blowing. These winds will pass on some of the energy over the oceanic water through the friction. We call it as a frictional drag. So because of that frictional drag, the oceanic water will start moving. So the simple thing, a simple understanding is what? Let's try to understand with a diagram. Let's say it's any coast of the ocean. The coast can be anywhere. It can be related to Indian Ocean or anywhere. Let's say I am representing this particular coastal area. So it is part of the ocean. Here you will have the wind is moving. So when the wind is moving in that direction, let's say here you will have shape is there, here you will have some of the iceberg is there, you can have any number of shapes is there. So the simple understanding or the simple movement should be in which direction? Because the wind is blowing in this direction, so these icebergs, these free flowing shapes should also move in this direction, because ultimately the energy that oceanic water surface are getting, that energy is mostly coming from the wind. But when Nansen has explored, what he found that these icebergs, these shapes are not moving in this direction, rather it is appearing that overall their movement is in rightward. We are taking the example, we are considering the example of northern hemisphere, so that's why it is appearing like a rightward movement. If you will study of any of the southern ocean, then you will find that the movement is happening in the leftward. So simply that was the problem that was posed, and solution was provided by the Ekman in the form of Ekman spiral and Ekman transport. Now just try to understand what Ekman has suggested. Ekman suggested that in general it appears that water is flowing as a column of water. So let's say you will have the ocean, so there will be a column of water, it can be of 10 meter, 20 meter, 30 meter, 40 meter. Now let's say we are considering that we have 50 meter deeper water is flowing. Now this 50 meter water, 50 meter column of water of the ocean is flowing, and why it is flowing? Mainly because of the frictional drag of the wind. So the first thing that Ekman had suggested you need to understand that in the ocean, water is not flowing as a single column of water, rather it is flowing like a different layers of the water. So just try to understand. Let's say you will have a 50 meter deeper water column of the ocean. So in general it is not moving in a at a one column of water, rather it is moving in different column of water. So it is the oceanic water, but it is moving in a different column of water. So you can say, you can just try to visualize that the oceanic water is mostly having a different layers, layer upon layer. Even you can visualize it like most of the time you will drink tea or coffee in your cup. So in tea or coffee that you are drinking in your cup, you will have only the uppermost layer. So that uppermost layer is this. Below this layer you will have the different layers. You can just assume, you can just visualize it. Now what Ekman has suggested, Ekman suggested that we also have one of the forces on the Earth's surface, that is Coriolis force. Now Coriolis force, you must have idea about this Coriolis force, or we'll discuss in some other lecture in detail. In simple, Coriolis force is being caused due to the Earth's rotation. So this Earth's rotation will bring some kind of deflection to all the moving object, which is simply known as the Coriolis force. So कोई भी आपका moving object है, it can be a human, or it can be a running train, or it can be a buses, or it can be a rocket. Every moving object on the Earth's surface will get deflected by a pseudo force that is known as Coriolis force. अब ये Coriolis force different इसकी behavior है. इन सिंपल आप ऐसा समझिए कि जो मूविंग ऑब्जेक्ट अगर आपका स्लो मूव कर रहा है तो उस पर कोरियोलिस इफेक्ट बहुत कम होगा, फास्ट मूविंग ऑब्जेक्ट है तो उस पर इफेक्ट ज्यादा होगा. तो अगर आप चल रहे हैं, दौड़ रहे हैं तो आप पे इफेक्ट ऑलमोस्ट नेग्लिजिबल होगा. बट अगर बुलेट फायर की गई या रॉकेट लॉन्च किया गया तो डेफिनेटली उसकी स्पीड बहुत ज्यादा है. सो डेफिनेटली यू विल हैव मोर डिफ्लेक्शन. सो सिंपली वी हैव द कोरियोलिस फोर्स. नाउ व्हाट एकमैन हैज सजेस्टेड, जस्ट ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. Ekman suggested, now let's say you will have the top layer. We are assuming that winds are blowing in this direction. Now the winds are blowing in this direction. Because of this, winds will transport some of the energy. So the wind is not transporting, because of this frictional drag, wind is not transporting the energy in this whole column at once. Rather, the wind will transport the energy at this uppermost column, let's say U. Now it is the U, that is the uppermost column, which will transport the energy to the layer below of it. So this layer, let's say I will name it as 2. 2 is not getting the direct energy from this wind. That is the crux of his particularly idea. That this layer, that is the layer that are present in the deeper part of the ocean. So you will have different layers, and these layers are very thin layers. So these layers that are present on the deeper side, they are not getting the energy from the wind directly. Rather, the wind will transport the energy to the top layer, and this top layer will transport the energy to the deeper layer. And also one thing you need to understand, the amount of energy that these layers are, successive layers are getting will be decreased, because there will be a lot of losses of energy. So ultimately, whatever the amount of energy this top layer is getting, if you will go and try to check out the layer, fifth layer, then definitely the amount of energy will be very lesser. So it's very obvious that whatever the speed of this upper oceanic water will be, if you will go and check out this oceanic water's speed, oceanic current's speed, so definitely its speed will be much lesser than what the top water is moving. So simply the energy will be a different layer by the layers itself, not directly wind. The second part of his idea, when the wind that is transporting energy, because winds are moving, so winds are moving, so because of the wind will bring some kind of frictional drag, so energy will be transported, so ultimately the water will start moving. But when the water will start moving, the Coriolis force will come into the picture. Because of that, the layer will not move directly in the direction of the wind. Rather, it will get deflected rightward in the northern hemisphere and leftward in the southern hemisphere. And this deflection will be around 40 to 45 degree. So now, if this wind is blowing here, so next you will have the layer, first layer will get energy, and this first layer will start moving rightward from the direction of the moving wind. Now just try to understand with one more simplified diagram. Let's say we have a coastal area, a oceanic area, where the wind is moving in this direction. So now what Ekman is suggesting, that the topmost layer will move in which direction? The topmost layer will move in this direction, that is around 45 degree direction. That is, we are considering we are in northern hemisphere. So in northern hemisphere there will be a deflection in rightward. Now you will have this, just try to visualize with that layer, layer upon layer, waters. So water is in different layer. Water is in different layer. So let's say it's your oceanic water. So oceanic water, you just need to understand that this water had different layers. So this is one layer, this is two layer, three, in this way. So you will have a different layers of the water. So the topmost layer will get the highest energy, so the speed of the wind will be highest. Now below this layer, again the water will move, but water will move how? Water will move with 45 degree deflection. In this way, the deflection will keep on to successive layers. That is what the Ekman's idea was. So let's say, just try to visualize. Let's say this is the wind that is blowing. So on the top, first you will have, there will be a deflection. Now let's say deflection is happening in which direction? Rightward. So the first deflection will be this, below that this, below that this, below that this. It is more or less like if you will take a deck of card. एक आप जो है जो प्लेइंग कार्ड होता है उसका पूरा का पूरा पैकेट लीजिए और उसको एक तरफ से प्रेस करिए एंड जस्ट ट्राई टू जस्ट फ्लैश द कार्ड. So when you will flash the card, you will find that there will be a lot of movement, lot of arrangement like this. The simple kind of arrangement you will find while the movement of water in the ocean. And when you will connect this, when you will connect the uppermost, then how it will appear? It will appear like a spiral. Because of that, he named this phenomena as a Ekman spiral. Now one very important, one very interesting thing. Of course, there will be a deflection. So now just try to understand. If this is your coastal area and here the winds are blowing in this direction, so ultimately what will happen? Upper surfacial water will move in this direction, then below this, almost the mirror image of it. So this is your Ekman spiral, that how the waters are flowing in the ocean. So one thing that you need to understand, that whole of the water, whole of the column of water will not move at once. Rather, it is the successive layers of the water that will flow. So the speed of the water that will be at the topmost will be highest, and as you will go in deeper part of the water, so speed will be almost decreases. And because of which only you just try to relate, most of the time you will come across the idea that waters below that 700-800 meters will be completely or almost in the stationary position, and this stationary position is mainly related to this, because the waters, when you will go deeper part of the water, speed will decreases. Of course, we have the deep ocean current. Deep ocean current will be related to some other concept, not related to this. But most of the time when you will go deeper into the ocean, because the energy is being passed from top layer to the next layer, next layer to the next layer. So because of that, there will be a loss of energy. So the lower layer will get very least energy. Also, speed will decreases and the Coriolis force will increases. So there will be a situation where almost wind is blowing in that direction, and because of the Coriolis in the lower part of the oceanic, water will move almost opposite to that particular Coriolis. Also, this is your spiral, Ekman spiral. But ultimately, because it's a oceanic water and oceanic water will move in some direction. So there will be a spiral kind of phenomena will happen, but ultimately the water will move. And how the water will move is simply in this direction. So if this is the wind and we are in northern hemisphere, so ultimately the water will move in the rightward direction. This rightward direction, the overall movement of the water in rightward direction is simply termed as Ekman transport. So simply when the overall water is moving in the rightward direction in the northern hemisphere, that will be termed as Ekman transport. So simply Ekman spiral and Ekman transport is associated with the oceanic current. Oceanic current are mainly two types. So we are having surface current and we are having deep oceanic current. So we are only relating this Ekman spiral and Ekman transport related to the surface oceanic current. In surface oceanic current, what happens? Wind will transport the energy. Transportation of the energy will be to the topmost layer, and that topmost layer will transport the further energy to its successive layers. So topmost layer will get dragged by winds, but it will not move in the direction of the wind, but it will try to get deflected. The deflection will be caused because of the Coriolis force. So wind will blow, and in the direction the wind is blowing, the topmost layer will deflect to around 40-45 degree. And in this way, the layer that are below the topmost layer will again go for 45 degree deflection, and the layers below of it will again go for the 45 degree. So in this way, there will be almost spiral will be formed of the waters, layers of the water, and these spiral will appear, move in rightward direction overall and leftward direction in the southern hemisphere overall. That is simply referred as Ekman transport. Ekman transport is nothing, it is related to how the water is moving in different hemisphere. If it is the northern hemisphere, it will move eastward, and if it is the almost southern hemisphere, so it will move westward. And this is how we used to understand the topic of Ekman spiral and Ekman transport. And I hope that you must have now in a condition to understand the oceanic current, you can say with better understanding with the help of Ekman spiral and Ekman transport. And this Ekman transport and Ekman spiral is also linked with one more very important feature, very important phenomena that we will discuss some time later, that is geostrophic current. There are geostrophic wind in the atmosphere, similarly we have the geostrophic current. So that's it for your Ekman spiral and Ekman transport. In next video we will discuss some more interesting terms. Till then, thank you all.